Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of Unspeakable Bliss. We are dual live streaming on Zlatka's Instagram page, and then we have a Zoom set up, so we'll be looking not all the time at the same camera, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, Zlatka, this is her first time on my podcast solo. We did a Bulgaria trip podcast with Mila before, and we've since come back from Bulgaria. And what I would love to do as a way of inviting you into this portal, my podcast, and live on your Instagram, is I want to invite you, if you would like, to open us up with a prayer, a ritual. And just a little side note on that, from my experience of you, love, this is how you start your day, this is how you end your day. This is something that we do before we have a meal together, and it's something that we did a lot on our pilgrimage with those that participated. So I just thought it would be a special way to also invite our friends, our family, the listeners here to dive into this portal with us.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Yeah. It's funny, we just did a prayer right before this.
We're praying, and then we're doing more prayers for more prayers.
Yeah, I just want to speak to this before we dive in, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of set the space and the container. So it's something that I was inspired by one of my mentors, Brianna Lynn, who encouraged us in the Liberation Mystery School to have a morning and evening ritual, a practice that we get to wake up with and go to sleep with, and not just a practice, but a ritual, creating the container for alignment with nature.
Including silencing my phone, excuse me.
Yeah, to create a container for magic. Ultimately, that's where this word ritual comes from, as my friend Grant reminded me. It's coming from the Sanskrit word Rita, which means cosmic order. And it's really an invitation for us to come into cosmic order in alignment with nature, with ourselves, and yeah, whatever we are, I am giving gratitude to. And I want to speak to this as I feel prayer a lot of times, especially in today's day and age. There could be immediately, if I heard someone say the word prayer, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, I might have a different...
Go running the other way.
I don't know if I'll go run, but I don't know if I'll even... I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. Mm-hmm. As if I've been on this so-called spiritual path for almost 17 years now, and I am recognizing that there's so many words and terminologies and ideas and that are now changing for me because I have a deeper relationship with those things. And so prayer, when I'm speaking to prayer here, ritual is, for me, it's an opportunity to commune to myself and my higher self, to spirit. And it's this communion through that which I might not actually see or even understand, but I feel a longing, a desire, a natural call to commune with that which I can't necessarily even name that, whatever that great mystery is to each one of us. And so this communing with my human self, my higher self, the Holy Spirit, the divine, the creator, the universe, God, whatever we want to use here, for me, it's been a really important part of my of a deeper connection to myself, to my relationships, and to the greater world. And so, yeah, this is a daily ritual of prayer, meaning I'm giving my attention and speaking from a place of relaxedness and from my heart, really attuning to what wants to be spoken, what wants to be shared. And it's usually something around giving thanks, being grateful for something, and also speaking to my challenges, speaking to what I'm calling in, speaking to what I need, what I want support with, what I need support with. You know, if it's more courage, if it's more for me to see something that I'm not seeing, whatever I need more support with, I usually bring that to my morning ritual. And that usually how it looks is after I have my glass of water, I come to my altar and I light up the fire, light up a candle.
Which is a candle here too. I don't know if you could see it.
A little candle too.
Got a flame burning.
I really love and appreciate the element of fire and water, having both. And yeah, I love first thing in the morning after drinking water is to come to my altar and to light up a candle and to share a prayer, to commune with myself, my higher self, and spirit. And usually I give something to the altar. Sometimes it's just my prayer. Most of the times it's also an incense, or sometimes it's flowers, sometimes it's coins, sometimes it's different things, but usually it's this presence of I'm going to commune with what is right now and give gratitude to that. And that really helps me to kind of sets the container for my whole day, because I'm bringing my awareness and attention to that which is most important for me. And from that place, I am setting the container for my day. And that, yeah, I'm not going to go into my day right now, but I would love to, for those who would like to join us into a little prayer, a little grounding, could be also meditation. It's really a prayer. And you can join us on this. It's going to be, I don't know how long, but it's not going to be too long, and it's not going to be so short either. So if you want to create the space, and grab some water or light a candle, you're welcome to do that.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. Zlatka and I certainly don't have any specific religious affiliation, nor are we trying to convert anyone to anything. So this is, I use the word spiritual, but a connection to reality, to the truth of our own beings. And there's certainly no set of beliefs required to engage in a ritual, an offering, a prayer that Zlatka will be offering. And religious beliefs are welcome as well in this space.
Totally. Everyone is welcome. Whatever your background is, whatever you believe in, it's a prayer in service to life. It's a prayer that is that can be used for anyone. Anyone can utilize it, and yeah, just invitation to, if you want to be part of this and tune in with us here, just to relax into your body, just to relax and to feel this connection between your breath and your body. Just continuing to breathe here. Invitation to begin breathing in and out of the belly. The next breath, bringing awareness down to the root, to the base of the spine. And breathing into this portal of connection. The root, the base, connects us to the earth plane. It's the closest. Just invitation to relax deeper here, deeper into your seat, into your sit bones, into your body, and to really allow gravity to hold you, the earth to hold you. Our shared mother. The place in which we're all born into, and the place in which one day this body gets to complete its journey here, at least for this lifetime. So really allowing yourself to feel this connection between your breath, your body, and the earth beneath you. And I'd like to open up the space with giving gratitude and thanksgiving for this moment, for this space. Giving gratitude to the land on which we stand on. So my mentor says the ancestors. Thank you to the ancestors, ancestors of these lands, the ones who have come before us. Thank you to the spirits of these lands. Thank you to the guardians, the protectors. And thank you to the home in which we're living in, the house, the apartment, wherever we are. Thank you to this space that we have cultivated and created a home in. If we're visiting or at someone else's home, giving gratitude to that space for holding you right now, for being your home right now. Thank you. And giving gratitude to our body, this home that we live in. Taking a deep breath here. Giving gratitude to the space in which our consciousness lives in. Our mind, our heart, our blood, our water, all of our organs, all of our cells. Thank you. Thank you. Giving gratitude to health, to the frequency and vibrancy of health. And calling upon health in all of our lives. May our bodies vibrate with health, with wellness. And may anything that's not of highest service to our bodies, to our space, the space that we're currently in, occupying. Prayer for whatever is on the way, whatever is not of highest service to our path. To be released with gentleness. To be released with care. And with that, anything that's not of highest service to this call with Christopher, this shared portal, I ask you to please leave the space, leaving us clean and clear, uninterrupted. interrupted to do this live stream. Thank you. And with that, calling in the angels and guardians and the ones who are here to protect the space, to guard the space. You're welcome here. Thank you. And feel free to call in anyone you wish to call in. That is your guardian, your protector, the one that helps you to walk a more aligned path. And giving gratitude and thanks to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and all ancestors who have come before us. Thank you. Giving gratitude to our descendants and the one who come after us. Thank you. Giving gratitude to all of our teachers and to all sacred wisdoms, all sacred knowledge that's been passed down the generations. Thank you. Giving gratitude to all of the directions, to the east, west, south, north, sky, earth, and our heart. Thank you. Thank you to the 5 elements. Thank you to the earth, the fire, water, air, and space. Thank you. This conversation with goodness, with usefulness, with that which is of the highest to come through. Our highest service, our highest good for each and every one of us who is here on this call. Thank you. This or something better. Thank you. A nice deep breath together. And get to the top, just hold it for a moment at the ground. And exhale. Deep breath in, slow. Hold it at the top. Back here to this present moment. Yeah, we've never left. Invitation to gently open your eyes whenever you feel cold and ready.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So that was a taste. Actually, it's like the full out prayer. I feel like this is now officially a ceremony with that opening. So thank you for that.
And I wanna name that I was definitely multiple times throughout the ceremony, maybe about 3 times, I noticed a little bit of my frequency was shifting in certain moments of this old pattern, this fear of doing this publicly. And who's the one that's going to see this? And and it was a quick readjustment back to
Just a quick,
quick
just a quick readjustment.
back to trusting that because I didn't know Christopher's gonna do this.
Surprise.
And so it was a surprise for me. And
I give you an idea. This was
yes, and I said, you know, we just did a prayer. We don't need to do a prayer live, and this is naturally what wanted to be shared. So thank you for everyone who joined. And I want to give gratitude and acknowledgement to my dear friend, and who I feel someone that, yeah, I feel her as an ally, a mentor, someone that I'm deeply inspired by, Brianna Lynn. I really appreciate her way of teaching and sharing. And in the Liberation Mystery School, every session that we have, every call that we have, it's open with a prayer. It's open with giving gratitude and centering ourselves in our body on the earth. And I really feel this. Yeah, I just wanted to express my gratitude, as I feel a big part of this consistency tuning into prayer is because of her. So thank you.
shout out Brianna Lynn. Well, you know what I enjoyed about the prayers? It gave me an opportunity to kind of relive the pilgrimage, because that's part of what I want to talk to you about here, the Bulgarian pilgrimage, that a month from today, right? A month from today is when we came out of it.
It's going to be a month tomorrow, exactly.
So a month from tomorrow, we came out of this pilgrimage. Lucky in the background, he's celebrating too. Maybe you can hear him barking. And there are so many moments of this pilgrimage that were just synchronistic, easy, graceful, and a lot of synchronicities I was realizing, because there's a few moments, and we could dive in to any one that you want. But what was coming up for me was first our arrival. There were two synchronicities. I'll just share the first one, where Zlatka and I, we had all our luggage. We had just arrived in Bulgaria. This was before the actual pilgrimage began, and we were too far away to walk to our Airbnb, and too close that no taxi wanted to pick us up. So we were standing on the side of the road, I don't know, like half an hour, maybe even more. Maybe
I would say at
close
least
to an hour.
Yeah, close to an hour.
Closer to an hour. And at one point I said to Zlatka, I was like, go. I was joking, but also very sincere. I said, go talk to that tree. We need to make an offering. We have to figure this out. And sure enough, soon after, Zlatka went and made an offering to this tree there in the city in Sofia. We had gotten it figured out. And then another one, this one was even more epic to me. We were in a similar situation. We couldn't get a taxi, and we were sitting by the side of the road with some of our luggage. And I actually said to Zlatka, because there was this car parked right in front of us, jokingly, I was like, maybe they can take us. She doesn't look too busy. There was this woman sitting there in her car. And 20 or 30 minutes later, this person sitting in her car gets out, and she's like, hey, do you need a ride somewhere? I can give you a ride. And we were both awestruck by the kindness of this person. And I'm also like, I was just joking about that 20, 30 minutes ago. And sure enough, we're connected with her now. I can't remember her name. But anyway, she was very sweet and kind, and we had a little drop in with her, and she very generously drove us to where we needed to go. So yeah, before I go any further, is there anything that you want to share?
I think that's a good start.
Yeah, so there was also the other points that were coming up for me is our time at the Real Lake. So I'm just going to list these off, and whatever one you feel most resonant with, we can go into, or something else if you want. Our day at the Real Lakes, which was potent and powerful, and actually where Zlatka received an insight at one of the lakes for doing our next Bulgarian pilgrimage in 2025, but also the mission for Richko and Jeanette, how we ended that in a surprising way, and how they ended up coming back, her grandparents' dogs. the Dooney. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because there's a lot of different places we could go.
Okay. Yeah. Where do you want to begin?
How about the real lakes?
Okay. The real lakes.
The 7 real lakes. So just to give an idea of the geography of the real lakes, you can't see all of them. There's 7 lakes around this range of mountains, and you can only see all of them if you go to the top. And so the higher and higher you go, you see, okay, the first lake appears, and then the second, and then the third. And you have to take a lift, a ski lift, to even get up to the entry point of it. And we made it to the peak.
We did make it to the peak. Yeah, I am tuning into being there, just energetically tuning into the land and the space. And what's coming through is the Rila mountain where the 7 Rila lakes are. I feel it's not a mountain that's been explored much, which has great benefits. As I feel it's almost like the original energies, the purity of the place has been kept to a good extent, an extent where I can.
I feel that with a lot of Bulgaria in general, the places that we visited.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's also kind of a strange thing to say too. It's like, what are you saying? But I've been to many places around the world, and certain places when I go there, I feel there could be a sense of density, a sense of lightness, and or it could be also this more pristine kind of, almost like this clarity that kind of overwhelms me. And I do feel this about the 7 Rila lakes. I feel the land there is really, it's so, to me, it's so mystical because every time we've been there, it's always been so different. The mountain literally, and that's the thing about mountains.
Very different place than the last time we were there, for sure.
And that's the thing about mountains and oceans, and really, especially these two. Anytime I go to the ocean, or anytime I'm hiking a mountain, or even looking at a mountain, or even looking at the ocean, it's always changing. It's not, there's sometimes more clouds, there's sometimes rain, there's sometimes big waves. It's like it's constantly changing. And so I feel wherever nature has remained the most untouched,
you're back.
I feel there is an opportunity to explore the mystery. Obviously, we can explore the mystery anywhere we are, really. Well, yeah, that depends on our state of mind, but generally speaking, the mystery, it's, to me, it's, it's something that is everywhere. And yet when it comes to places that haven't been overly, there's not too much tourism, and there's not too much people passing by there, a certain level of purity is kept. And I believe it's almost like the guardians of this mountain, of the 7 Real Lakes, has kept its, I just feel this protection of, the ones who feel really cold are going to be cold there, just like any place. But because Bulgaria has not been as discovered as much as many other places around the world, especially in Europe, I feel that's a big benefit to nature herself. It's like nature has an opportunity to really do her work without so much yeah, without too many people. And there is garbage on the streets and in a lot of different places that we went. That is something that I feel is a challenge to an extent that Bulgaria is facing, and I also feel it's something that can be resolved. And that's one thing that I definitely was seeing, and it's kind of hurting. Like, was like, oh, like, come on, like, really? Why would you just throw random things on the earth? Just, yeah, this idea of trashing this beautiful planet. So that was something that I was experiencing and took action on. And everywhere we went, I had plastic bags with me and taking the trash. And
Yeah, we didn't advertise that on the pilgrimage page. We definitely didn't say, if you come on this, little do you know you're gonna be the supportive cleanup crew for Bulgaria. But it was just natural, for us to, not everywhere we went, but a lot of places we would go. Zlatka would start cleaning up, and then
and
myself.
Christopher would videotape me.
Yeah, I want you to capture it, to share it with you. Oh. No, but we would collectively clean up, and
Yeah,
it's good. Good thing to do.
Yeah. So the Seven Really Lakes for me it's a continuous mystery that I ever keep exploring. And it was so beautiful that this time around the weather kept changing, and there was some sun and some clouds. And as we kept going up, the clouds really started coming in, and the wind started kind of started coming in. And when we got to the top, we couldn't see all the 7 lakes from the top, which is something that once you get to the top, you could see all 7 of them. One is on the left, and the rest are on the right. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it was really sweet that right after we did a prayer as a group, it was right around that time, but one of the last lakes revealed itself. It kind of, without going
Just
close
for a
up to
moment,
it,
yeah.
just for a moment. And I just saw it for that moment. It's like, oh, thank you for revealing yourself to this special moment as we got to the top, to the peak. And yeah, the message was focus on what's in front of you, focus on the next step, focus on what's in front. And nature was kind of providing this closer field view instead of this expansiveness. And that's exactly what was needed for that moment. And it was a really, really potent, that was one of the most potent journeys of my life, and definitely one of the most potent journeys of the trip.
Yeah. One of the participants actually said, our friend, he said that if it was more clear, he didn't know if he would have had the experience that he had of just being close to what's right in front of him in the present moment. So it was very powerful. I mean, for me, there was a lot of energy moving through me, in part because of microdose that we had a little ceremony. And this microdose, I had what, according to this microdose charts, it said walk, run, or fly. And I had like a good walk amount, we would say, but I was flying. So I don't know who made up the protocol on that, but it was a very intense microdose. And of course, Zlatka and I mean, what I was putting out there is like, okay, I'm in part co-leading this, but I was also very much so like, focus on your breath, dude, focus on the present moment, because it was very, very intense. And mushrooms never cease to surprise me. But anyway, I was going in and out of this experience of movement, and I was enjoying the movement, but also what was really moving through me was finding stillness in the movement and being like literally physically being on the journey up this mountain. I would just sit and I would just have the most, well, it would go from, in some cases, an anxiety that I was feeling about, I don't know even what exactly, just And for me, that has to do with mushrooms. I feel like it exposes me to, and also with cannabis, but specifically with mushrooms. For me, it's like, here, look at the stuff on full blast that you've been suppressing in day-to-day life, whether you like it or not, and be with it. And so when I could actually be with it and drop into stillness, like when you and Jared were by the lakes, and then once when I was waiting for Nicola to come up the mountain, I would just sit there in this incredible, it would go from anxiety to bliss when I would just be present with this sensation I was moving through. Fortunately, I felt that was a big blessing. And actually, when we were at the peak, and when the sun came out to reveal the seventh mountain, I was freezing as well. Seventh lake, excuse me, the seventh lake. I was so cold, like really, it was pretty cold that day when we were up there. And I definitely didn't listen to Zlatka telling me to wear extra layers, because I just like to not listen to Zlatka and to see what happens and learn by my own experience. And I'm sitting there right after we did this little blessing together. And I remember there was a very profound surrender to the physical coldness, to how I just wanted the sun come out to warm myself up. Oh, of course, for the view, for all of us to experience it too. But I just surrendered to all the anxiety, the fear, whatever it was that I was feeling. And in the moment that I released, I swear, the very moment that happened, I awakened out of this really deep kind of portal that I was in, to Zlatka saying, "Look, the seventh lake." And I looked back, and I just see the sun shining. And I don't even know if I shared this with you exactly when this happened. And I just see the sun shining, and then I see the lake and all of us. And it was this very sweet moment. But also soon after that, Mark, another one of our friends on the journey, he's like, "I didn't know you were cold here." And he gave me another coat too. So it was just like this very full circle moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love as you relaxed into it and kind of give up the idea of wanting that. It appeared as you surrendered into it.
He saw me shivering. So it's very natural for him to offer me. But there was something about this like movement and stillness where it felt like my mind was going at a certain speed, and then my body was going at a certain speed, and then my spirit or essence was also, I don't know if I could say like moving, but when I would sit down in these moments, there were like 3 or 4 distinct moments on the way up the mountain where I would just sit, and it would go from anxiety and kind of it being a challenging experience to just a near overwhelming, not overwhelming at all, just it turned from anxiety to sheer bliss and peace. But it for the most part was happening when I would become still. So that was the message. And I wrote it down in my journal, that stillness at this chapter, in this chapter of my life. I mean, it's always been important, but more so now, especially if there's a lot of physical movement, if I'm traveling, if we're in meetings and things like that, I just gotta tune into, just like today, I was telling you, in the backyard, I just sat in the yard for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. And my system really appreciates it.
Yeah. Finding the balance of our personal equilibrium. This is something that's been really coming through, and something that I experienced actually on the pilgrimage as I was co-creating it with Christopher. And I really wanted this experience of having personal time and collective time and nature time, and of course visiting these ancient sacred places, sites where we get to do ritual and really be with the place. And it was so important for me to be in this balance of, okay, if one day we did a little too much of this, to really attune to the next day and to kind of find that balance that allows us to move through this journey with more grace. You know, the initiations are already naturally happening within our own system, I feel. For me, you know, any journey that I'm on, it's gonna reveal the next level of like what's in the way, what's blocking me from leaning into something, surrendering into something, trusting in something, whatever it is, whatever I have resistance within my body, it's going to reveal itself. And can I create the condition in the exterior as much as possible for that initiation to move through with more grace, with more of this, I'm one with the environment. So let me find that balance of food, hydration, movement, going to places, self-time, other time, all of it. And I feel my experience is that that was experienced by us and the participants who were with us for the most part. I can't say 100% all the time, but for the most part, there seemed to be this equilibrium, this balance of what seems to be important for me to co-create these spaces of exploration. Yeah.
So what I'm curious about, love, is what was your most profound, heart-opening, sort of like the pinnacle moment, if there was one, and then also the other side of that, if there was like a low or a really hard time for you during pilgrimage, if you feel called to share.
Yeah. So what is the high? The
thorn in the rose.
Thorn in the rose. Okay. So the rose, the more elevating experience, I would say, to allow me to expand. Let me tune in because there's multiple of them. Two particular ones stand out for me. Actually, yeah, two particular ones. It's really three of them, and maybe I could touch briefly on.
Go for it.
On each one. Okay. So the first one that really, it felt like this opening, this welcoming of the pilgrimage was the first sacred site that we visited, Pohodna, Eyes of God Cave, which is the 68 million year old cave. That is the biggest cave in Bulgaria, and human life has been depicted to live there up to 10,000 years BC, which is
12,000 years ago.
12, up to 12.
Right. And they found evidence for that there as well, by the way.
Yeah. And so this mysterious, out of this, almost feels unreal. Like genuinely feels like, whoa, is this reality right now? It really feels like it's almost like from the dinosaur time, and at the same time something completely mysterious, something unknown. And we had an opportunity to be there with Christopher for our second time, and I can only imagine with each time going, as each time these places reveal, depending on where I am, where Christopher is, where any one of us is.
Just picture the place.
I believe we're going to meet that place differently, because it's our energetics, our state of mind, our emotional state, how we see life is what experiences the place rather than the place itself, right? The place itself could be beautiful just because it's nature, but it's like, okay, but how are we perceiving that beauty? How are we communing with that which is? And for me, it was I love that all the places we've been to before with Christopher. So this was like a second or third reunion with these places. It was like, oh, like here I am having the opportunity to meet with you again, and eyes of God, this, yeah, there's these two big eyes carved into the earth that look up towards the sky. And so it kind of looks like an owl. When the full moon is there, when the full moon passes through one of the eyes.
This is, I mean, the picture doesn't quite do justice, but those holes are like 200 feet up in the air.
Yeah, really. Wait to show the mystery.
Oh, that's just a picture.
Yes, and that's the thing. I feel genuinely the pictures are not giving a lot of these places justice.
Hey, Nicola. Nicola's here.
Oh, hey, Nicola.
He was with us on the pilgrimage.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel, a place itself, it's what makes the experience an experience is what we bring to the table and how we commune with a place. And so for me in that moment, this was our first official place that we went to, and I really felt just the power of prayer, the opening prayer, and that moment we were all holding hands, and when we opened our eyes, looking into the earth, into each other's eyes, and then up into the eyes of this cave, it was a really special moment of remembrance of I just felt this deep connection to this pilgrimage and the opening of this ceremony. Even before that, going to the water where we had our evening ceremony, but yeah, just my connection to this cave was it was just as mysterious as the first time I went. Pretty much. It's hard to do it justice. Yeah.
He said it's difficult to communicate how grandiose it is with a photo on a small phone screen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And photos, videos, photos also do capture.
You don't have to convince him.
It's almost like part of the beauty. The beauty gets to be shared. And of course, yeah, whoever's looking gets to decide what that is for each one of us. And yeah, these places, this place in particular, I just feel a deep connection to the mystery that every time something new is revealed, and it's this huge cave. I've never been to such a cave before. I mean, it's
860 feet long.
I just feel in nature. I feel in nature. I really feel the masculine and the feminine energy really present. Like being in the womb, but also looking out into the sky, looking out into the Father. And
I want to do a Dooney. They're so good.
Fire ceremony.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm not, with these rituals, with these fire ceremonies that we practice, I actually love doing them out in nature where there is no other energetic portal that is so big, because we are creating our own portal in that moment. And sometimes, depending on the place, a lot of these places, they have been abandoned. They've been there for so long, and not necessarily abandoned. People are still visiting them, but I basically don't know how happy the spirits are, or how, I just think life is just happening there, but I don't know if I want to do a fire ceremony there. That's all I'm saying, because we're also working with other energetics, and sometimes, for me, not sometimes, what I always prefer is a clean space where there is less other energies going on, because these fire ceremonies that we do, I feel are
I would definitely want to do it there when no one else was there. That's for sure. Which there's, of course, no way to ensure that, but probably sunrise would be best. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's one. The other is the seven real lakes, and in particular the sixth lake, which is called the Eye. And
The third eye, right? It aligns to the.
I mean, that's what I received.
Yeah,
It
okay.
doesn't necessarily say that, but there's the base where all the lakes come into. There's another lake. There's the twins. There's yeah, there's different lakes, and every lake has its own portal. There's the kidney, and it looks like a kidney. The fifth lake where we spend the most time. That's another, yeah, big energetic vortex. And the sixth lake, which was, yeah, just covered in so much fog in that moment.
You couldn't see more than 30 feet. 30 feet,
into
and then
it.
it's just fog, just
Yeah,
like mist.
And so it made it even more mysterious and
Mystical.
mystical. Yeah. And so I remember I really had a moment there of, okay, yeah, I had a moment there of connecting deeper to my vision, of the vision that I'm holding for humanity, for myself, my dharma, my path. And I just received the power of prayer and of nature. I really felt this allyship with what I was experiencing, receiving, and it felt very humbling. It felt very, yeah, the Gene Keys, this was the gift of graciousness. This grace kind of overcame me, and yeah, I received a lot in that moment, emotionally, mentally, vision wise. And I received the message for the next pilgrimage that will be happening in 2025 in September 20th until the 30th. It's going to be one more day this time. It's going to be 11 days, 10 nights. And I received the message to have 6 people, no more than 6 people. Without me and Christopher, that will be 8. And yeah, I received information on that next pilgrimage to Bulgaria, which was just a huge blessing and deep gratitude for this passage forward. This kind of almost felt, there was a lot of, not almost felt, there was a lot of preparation going into Bulgaria, and a lot of prayer, and a lot of asking for permission from the lands and from my ancestors and support. And there was so much of that went into it, that when I was there, I really felt that support, and I really felt this, yeah, almost like this passageway of, come again, do this again.
And so we shall.
And I want to thank Bulgaria, the spirit of Bulgaria, and all the people, Mila, Nicola, Jared, Mark, our parents, my parents, everyone who, our friends who are praying and cheering us on, everyone who contributed to this, however you contributed, you were part of that pilgrimage in some way, shape, or form. And I want to give gratitude to everyone for this, because every person's action matters for this to have been co-created in the way that it did. And yeah, I'm feeling really blessed and grateful. So thank you. And the last place, the Trinity. I love Trinities. Everything has to have not everything, but I love geometry. Sacred geometry. Even right now we have, here we have the 3 different gods and goddesses of Ganesha, Hanuman, and Lakshmi. And we have 3 different elements of the earth, which is the rose here, water and fire, and air is the communication. And the space is spirit. So here are the 5 elements just in this space alone. And yeah, I'm coming back to the 3rd place, which is Belintash. And yeah, Belintash has a really special place in my heart. From the first time I went to this place, I can't describe it. It's really special. It's almost like I've been there before. It's also close to the closest mountain that I was. I'm the closest to the Rhodope Mountains, and this Belintash is by the Rhodope Mountains. So I really feel this home there, and yeah, I can't describe this big plateau of rock,
very
basically sitting on this hill,
very mysterious,
with these big holes that hold water. And there's myths and all sorts of stories about this place, and I'm not going to get into that, but there's definitely a lot of magic, and I felt that magic. I was seeing nature's art expressed. We have a photo that we posted recently. I think it's on my first post or second post about the pilgrimage. And it's literally this rock that when I look, I mean, I was seeing faces,
yeah, it's incredible.
Clear faces
that
are ingrained in nature.
Yeah. I'd like to speak a little bit to this place, and then please, Belintash. So this is when Zlatka says a rock, it doesn't quite describe what this place is.
Huge rock.
It's a giant plateau of rock, but because it's a plateau, it's flat. And in the research that I did years ago before we went there, people when they would find a place like this, or when whoever or whatever created it, it'd be viewed as a kind of like a sanctuary, a holy site. And there are a few reasons for that. One being that it has a good lookout. Like when we're on this plateau, you can almost see all around, and that was helpful when invaders were coming. But that doesn't necessarily explain the importance of it being a rock. And I just want to say, there are multiple places where there's these huge cuts of rock sticking out on the sides of it that I don't know if these are megaliths. I'm talking about something else here. Okay. Where it looks like there's faces. I mean, we didn't do a microdose for this journey, so that wasn't influencing me there. I would just look at these different rock structures. Some would look like a king, someone would look like a indigenous woman, and there's quite a number of them here. And I just get the feeling that it was created by something or someone. And I'll also share that too, is these holes that Zlatka talked about that now are holding water, just, well, in part because it's rainwater. I don't know if their original purpose was to hold water, but there's these man or UFO. I said it. You can look this up. No one knows how these holes were created by people or something else a very, very long time ago. And they're all over this plateau. And then also, to me, it's unexplainable, these large rock face figures. And there's one other place that I know of, there's probably more in Bulgaria, that we visited with your grandfather, that also has these incredible square holes all over this rock face. Anyway, it just adds to the mystery of this incredible place.
Yeah, and the sunsets there, I mean, it's just overlooking these little towns, and yeah, there's something really, really profound, unexplainable, and definitely the energy there is really, really potent, and definitely a vortex. So anywhere where there's the energy is potent, it's so important that we go in with the right intentions. That and I'm saying we, as I really feel this is a principle to come into right relationship with nature, with these sacred sites that nature has created herself, and us humans end up discovering it. And um, yeah, it's like, how do we treat that which we discover that is here to support us? How do we engage with that? And I feel, kind of going places and bringing arrogance to the places, the sacred sites that we visit, which is, there's so many, our home is a sacred site. But specifically, I'm talking about these nature places that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, prehistoric, before the patriarchy came into the modern world. And I really feel it's really important how we walk on those lands, wherever they are in the world. Even if we're going into a river, like, what is our attitude and connection to these places? Are we mindlessly just consumed by our own ego that is not concerned about the outside world? Or are we walking in with respect, with love, with care, asking for permission to be there, making an offering, whether it's with tobacco or flowers or whatever? But I really feel that's so important for pilgrimages, for these kinds of journeys, but also for anyone who wants to bring that more into their life, to bring more reverence to an intentionality to the journeys which you choose to take, as every journey carries its opportunity to come to prayer, to come into alignment, to come into right relationship with what is, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, but can I create the container as much as possible, the intention, the practice, the prayer, to kind of be in communion with that which I cannot see, that which I cannot even necessarily know just through my mind, but I am open to discover what is there for me. And yeah, the messages, the downloads, the insights that come through in these sacred sites, I feel are like gold mines, that the more I can really bring them into practice, into my day-to-day life, it supports my evolution, it supports the path. Yeah.
Beautiful, love. Thank you. Well, we have an appointment to get to in a little bit here. So what I would love to do, as you started us with a little ritual, this came through for me during, I'm going to share, it's a journey, it's a bit of a ritual, a poem that came through, and it's an ode to Bulgaria. So at the end of our experience together, we invited everyone, all of us that went on the pilgrimage, to a set of questions. And the last question was to write a poem about someone or something that inspired you. And so I shared this before, not on the podcast, but on my email, and I would like to share it all with you here. And before I do that, as Zlatka mentioned, I think when I was coming back, we are going to be doing another pilgrimage in 2025 in Bulgaria, and we're also going to be doing a journey in Costa Rica at the beginning of January, or well, mid-January. So
January 11th.
January 11th
to the 18th.
To the 18th, one a full week. So if any of you that have tuned into this feel called, feel free to send myself or Zlatka a message, and we can arrange that. So invitation to make yourself comfortable. If you feel comfortable to lower your eyelids or close your eyes, feel free to do that. And something that I didn't share with you, love, that I'll share with you right now, is although this poem is about Bulgaria, it's also about you. And I was really actually reading it, and I was replacing the word Bulgaria with Zlatka. And I mean that literally, but I also mean it in the sense that you introduced me to this country. The reason why I've been to this country is because this is your heritage, and every word that I said in this poem, I feel it to be true of the spirits of the land, which, the way I understand spirits of the land, it is the land. The spirits of the land are the land. And so this is my offering, in a way, and to you, because you're the spirits of those lands, because this is your country of origin. So I'm not going to replace the word Bulgaria with Zlatka for this transmission. I'm going to read it as it came through, but I wanted you to know that as well.
That I'm gonna receive it in a fresh new way right
Yeah.
now. Look at all the different ways we can receive art and poetry and music. It's just like a shift of perspective. And yeah. Anyway, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So what we will close out with this. So after I share this, we'll end the live stream. And again, this will be posted to Unspeakable Bliss, and then it's on Zlatka's Instagram here too. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, love, for doing this with me today. I found it very enriching and nice to reminisce and share some of these things.
Thank you for having me, love. Yeah, thank you to everyone.
That means it's my pleasure in Bulgaria.
Pleasure. That's right. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's tuning in and yeah, being with us in this portal of connection and exploration. Yeah, any comments, anything that inspires you or triggers you, activates you, feel free to message us or send a comment. And yeah, here to be in communion with, to be in conversation with these dialogues instead of it being just Christopher and I.
Absolutely. Zlatka, you will be seeing more of Zlatka on my podcast as well.
I will be a more frequent guest. Thank you.
All right. So again, invitation to lower your eyelids if you feel comfortable and receive this. And my invitation to, although I'm speaking about the land of Bulgaria, of course, please feel free to tune into that, but also an invitation to tune into whatever word there fits for you. Freedom, love, your home, whatever that is for you. Oh, Bulgaria, the sweet motherland, like a fiercely loving mother protecting her lion cubs. You are a lioness who consumes and alchemizes the negativity of this world, yet so generous for the love of your children. Your resilience, your commitment to unity and generosity, like a beautiful rose to be appreciated. And yet your thorns rip through the illusory flesh of all demons. You beckon our respect and integrity. Delicate are you, not fragile nor breakable, radiantly shining like the shimmer of 1,000 diamonds of truth. Oh, Bulgaria, you've called me home with the sweet scent of rose and the grapevines in Yerosalimovo, at Dado Dobry and Babo Didi's home. How clever are you to grace my memory with the sweet scent of the fruits from my own childhood. You must be home too. This I feel in my heart. Oh, Bulgaria, your sword of truth cuts through the illusion of control without a drop spilled from the innocent's blood. Time and time again, you have proved an immovable faith. The spirits of this land are ripe and thirsty to come alive, anew, reborn, unified like never before, yet restored to original wholeness, original holiness. For no sword of violence, oppression, or hate can pierce you. Like you, we sit, we pray, we offer ourselves in devotion and patience, aligning to your vibrations. We are ready for the floodgates of peace, generosity, and resilience to rain down and flow through our world once again. Oh, Bulgaria, I call upon all the fallen warriors of peace who have died here, not in vain, but to rise again. Babavanga, Aspuru, Dadovaicho, Vasilevsky, Saint Marina, the heroes of these lands, named and unnamed here, rise and burn away the impurities. The Balkan lion who roamed these lands so long ago, roaring now in protection, peace, and victory, to unify not only the people and spirits of these lands, but of all lands, and with your echoing roar, bringing peace to our world, and thus heaven on earth. O Bulgaria, the doorway to the kingdom of heaven inside and outside, I thank you. I bow to you and kiss this land, for home never leaves our hearts. O Bulgaria, the screams of tortured souls now ring out as the roar of liberated beings. Can you hear this silent roaring? Listen. 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 O Bulgaria, the wisdom of Sophia is generous and unending, but one aspect has never been more clear than now. Although the oppression and suffering has been of many, the lesson you offer now and always, the great spirit of reality, which is your eternal essence, is free, always is, and forever shall be. Like a guiding light, infinitely and eternally shining, regardless of and in the face of immense atrocity and turmoil, the impenetrable and unrepressible Great Spirit remains untainted, blazing light into the darkest places. What is seen miraculously, the old story of suffering, never truly was. Divine denial for all that is shines by your eternal light, and the souls who suffered are redeemed, glorified, sanctified, and cleansed by the light of your grace. The souls of the oppressed and oppressors obliterated, fractured, and reborn in your sacred waters. Splendors of truth, love, wisdom, beauty is all that remains. Embodied, living, breathing spirit, as real as the very eyes seeing and hearing these words now. For to say it as simply as possible, your revelation is that nirvana and samsara are one. Suffering is grace. Grace, nothing other than suffering. Bondage, liberation. Liberation, bondage. Reality laid bare, existence itself. For how could there be anything outside of the all that is? There is not. God is, we are, you are, I am. And so, although this has been said and written, no single word can capture your immortal essence, and yet every word said is made of only your sweet self. O Bulgaria, I will be back, and too in your sweet, generous remembrance that time has come, which is beyond time itself, the dawning moment which we never left.
Wow. That was a portal. Wow. We sure know how to go into portals together.
Yeah, we have had a ceremony of a podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Bulgaria. And thank you, love.
Baby. to unspeakable bliss. And if this inspired you, if you want to share it with your friends or reshare it, comment, do all the fun algorithms to help us share this with more people.
Share it with someone that would really love to hear this, please. Peace. Thank you.
Thank you.